Hey, sports fans, joined today by a longtime friend, the co-CEO of Hoops in the Sun, Randy Cruz. Randy, how are you doing?
Bobby C, my man, how you doing? Doing good.
I'm doing all right, living life at home these days, working from home. So a little bit of a different thing. I think the only thing that has been maybe a positive, as much as I love to get suited up these days, I do enjoy kind of working in my pajamas. I've tried to get a little more fashioned up for you today. I got a little spring jacket on.
Look
Uh,
nice, man.
Yeah, thanks, man. Definitely missing being outside as much, but as we know, New York on pause. It's probably best right now to stay indoors and stay home. But how's everybody at home? Speaking of family and health, and how's everything going at home?
Family's doing good. Taking everything one day at a time, just trying to kind of process everything and trying to adapt to the new way of, life right now, the new norm. Just being extra careful, staying at home majority of the time, go outside probably for a little walk and not try to be around as much people as possible. So still getting used to it, but hopefully, this can all, pass by sooner rather than later.
Now, Randy, you're a big time Renaissance man. At least that's what I call you, because not only are you the CEO of a very popular playground basketball tournament here in New York City, and that's Hoops in the Sun, over 20 years at Orchard Beach. But you're really a terrific content creator. So in this time of the pandemic, you've been one of the few people, I think, that has done a marvelous job of creating content, especially basketball content. And you're doing that through the platform of podcasting. So you've got some new news because your podcasts are on a different platform. And I was hoping that you could share it with the fans at home as to what you're doing and how you keep them busy these days.
When you're home and you think a lot, you try to find different ways how you can just create something, whether it's video or podcasting or how you just tweet online on Twitter and just or Instagram live videos. So my brother and I have been doing that lately. The podcast, I think it's going really well. Has been on a new platform on Ball's Life for the past 2 months right now. So it's still growing. I think it has a lot of room to grow. Potential shows coming up in the next couple of weeks, and I'm a very big time throwback nostalgic NBA fan, as you know. So at one point, I was getting tired of talking about the same current NBA stuff with LeBron and Harden and the Warriors and all that stuff. And it's like I felt there was a space where you could talk about retro throwback basketball once a week and have people who follow me on Twitter and vice versa just come on, and people who cover the sport for a certain team or for a certain website to come on and talk about what team they were a fan of growing up, or what team they're a fan of now, what player, what certain era are they really fans of. And I just did that. I reached out to a few people and we did one show, then it became two, and it was something that I wanted to curate over a year and a half ago. So we're about 30, 35 episodes in, I believe. Just creating content. My brother is doing some things on Instagram Lives just to kind of pass the time and just trying to talk to people in the basketball world, especially the street ball world, because we don't know what's going to happen this summer as far as every major street ball tournament goes. So not just only us, but it's a major question mark, and just trying to figure out a lot of plan A, B, C, D, how to move forward with everything.
I really enjoyed the show that you did with Ron Artest recently. And of course, Ron, not only a college and an NBA star, but one of the former stars of Hoops in the Sun.
Yeah, so my brother, quick story, he went to school with Ron Artest and Shamgar Wells back in LaSalle in the mid-'90s. So they always kept in touch with each other. Shamgar's now with the Mavericks doing player development work. And my brother was just on Instagram one late night, and he said, I'm going to try to get Meta on the show. And I said, okay, cool. Like, what, for, IG Live? He said, yeah. And me thinking, he'll probably be 10, 15, 20 minutes. He's doing a whole bunch of things. But we had him on like on a Monday night, a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago. He was on for damn near an hour and a half. And just every story from LaSalle, St. John's, playing with Indiana, Kobe Lakers, his how he still feels about not getting drafted by the Knicks 21 years ago. And that was a big funny moments. So just having a guy like him, you know, an NBA world champion, just come on your Instagram live. And when he comes on, then you get like 200, 300, 400 people just watching you and seeing what he's talking about. So that was real cool, real dope. And just we thank you for coming on. And, you know, hopefully now with the time we have, we can create more stuff like that on the fly where people just, it may not be promoted, but if you hop on our live, you might catch a NBA player.
You think about all the things that are going on right now in terms of things that have been postponed or canceled. But every once in a while, there's kind of like a feel-good story, you know, whether it's Obadiah Toppin winning the Naismith or getting the Karl Malone Award. And I look at Obi Toppin, just another one of the players that has come through Hoops in the Sun, and he can be added to this list of guys like Kimball Walker, Kenny Satterfield, Push Parker, and maybe even taking some credit for Ron Artest, because when he was at the beach, he was in his prime.
Yeah, so like the story goes where, you know, Obi's dad played in the tournament the first couple of years from like 2000 to maybe '07, and we would see his two young kids always around. But they wanted basketball, they want to shoot around during halftime, they want to shoot around for a prize and everything. So they were always around the tournament, always around basketball. And just seeing Obi now, like he's 6'7", 6'8". If I stood next to him, I'd be like wow, like you really grown up to be like a young, mature man. And you know, he played a couple times at the beach. I think 15, 16, 17 with Bingo's All-Stars. So he was getting, you know, acclimated to high school basketball, and just seeing what he's been able to do at Dayton. And it still feels sad that you just couldn't see anybody in March Madness to see how if Dayton would have won the championship, and, you know, have Obi's draft stock go higher than what it is now, probably a top 5 pick. But if he played it in March Madness, it could have been a top 3 pick. You just never know. But I'm happy for him. I'm proud of him. I even did a live a few weeks ago, and he just happened to, you know, he follows me. He pops in, and I'm like, oh, like what are you, what are you doing here? He said, yo, what's up, man? How you doing? Just checking you guys out. And I think it was on the live with Meta. He said, you know, good to see you guys, and we wish him well and everything. So that's a feel-good story for us to see.
As a commissioner of a very popular street ball league in the summertime that was gearing up to kind of get going around Father's Day in June, what has this process been like for you and your brother right now, also trying to continue the legacy that your father had put together, the late, great Pops Cruz?
Well, it's crazy, man. Before everything happened, we were scheduled to start June 13th. So you do the math, that's 2.5 months. Obviously, if there's no tournament, then we just got to focus on 2021. If they say maybe August, then I think that's probably too late to do anything as far as running a big time tournament. So we can probably maybe do some 2-on-2 stuff, 3-on-3, a weekend thing at the beach. I don't know, but that's, yeah. And the Posse Department have been very helpful with, you know, contacting us weekly, or, you know, this is what's going on, that's what's going on. As you know, they took the rims down at the beach, and they took the rims down at just about every playground in the city. And it's surreal to see that, because Joe and I were just at the beach on Sunday, and I'm looking at the rim light, and I'm looking at every basket is down. It just gives you a real indication of how serious this thing is. And we just don't know. I wish I could say, listen, we're gonna try for middle of June or end of June or early July. You're still 2.5 months out, and I don't want to rush anything either. So if we have to take a back seat to next summer, then I think that's probably the best course of action. It's a weird time living right now. I pray for everybody to be safe, but everything's one day at a time, Bob.
100%. Well, Randy, I really appreciate you coming on the show and sending my best to you and your family. And I'm most certainly hoping that we see Hoops in the Sun in summer of 2020.
Thank you, Bob. Appreciate the invite, and hopefully we can get things rolling this summer. If not, 2021, baby.
Thanks again for coming on, Randy.
All right. Thank you.
Stay tuned. More open back after this.